Let the vengeance begin!
Howdy, howdy, ShadowOnline here, and welcome to Game 1 of Shadow Online Gaming's tournament. I have the Lizardmen up against the Vampire Counts. I am playing Professor Pawn as the first game of the tournament, and I'll just go over a little bit the format of the tournament, which is really, you gotta pick 3 different factions to play. So I've picked the Lizardmen, the Dwarfs, and the Vampire Counts in my 3. So this one I have the Lizardmen up against the Vampire Counts. You don't know what your opponent's going to pick for their faction when you pick yours, so it's sort of a mishmash. So turns out the Lizardmen have a pretty good game against the Vampire Counts, but Professor Pawn mains the Vampire Counts, so I knew that. So this is the build. So I worked on this build with a Rourke boss, and I mean, I got crushed a bunch of times. I'm really not good at playing anything else but the Dwarfs, but we'll go over it. So it is very simple. Storm Chamber Guardians, Temple Guard, and the reason they're awesome, first of all, but they also have Guardian. So 15% physical resistance of a Lord or a Hero, and then 2 Temple Guards. And you'll notice these 2 Temple Guards, I have 1 chevron on them. That's sort of like that little chevron trick, so they can get chevroned up faster. And for the back line, I have 2 Feral Carnosaurs, and they both have 1 chevron. That'll help them gain chevrons really fast. We do have a Bastiladon Solar Engine. Not Bastiladon Solar Engine, it's just so that I can actually shoot him out of the sky and make him sort of come to me, and a little faster. He has to anyways because he doesn't have anything that can skirmish. But I want to start getting in shots, and it does fire damage and magic. So I knew he was gonna have some regenerating units. Of course, I've got Lord Croak, who's amazing in this, and Lord Croak makes this really, really tough for the Vampire Counts, because he deals with infantry so good, because he has these 3 spells. The Deliverance of Itza, which is really good against a single unit, and this is the big one, Deliverance of Itza 2, which is good against groups, and Deliverance of Itza 3, which is good against armored groups. And then he also has Cold-Blooded, and he has Supreme Shield, the old one, 44% damage resistance, a ward save for 18 seconds. And he has physical resistance of 15%, magic resistance 14% or 40%. He has magic resistance 25 rather, and missile resistance 40. He's really, really good. And for my leader, and this is sort of I didn't really know how to do this, and I did have a chat with Professor Pawn, and this is not quite the meta army, but I mean, it is what it is. So for my leader, I have Tenin Juan, and I just have him on foot. So what I brought him for is, he is a magic user, but I have no spells. I actually should have brought 1 spell, but I brought no spells. And the reason I brought him is because he has this item, the Blade of the Serpent's Tongue, makes everyone within 40 meters of him have do poison damage, and he also has a little bit of magic. So he has an Arcane Conduit, and he has Arcane Conduit for the improved power recharge rates and power reserves, and he also has Stand Your Ground for the 27 melee defense and 16 leadership. Now, I also have a group of skink cohorts in this backline, and really they're just to be a reserve unit if I absolutely need them. They're meant to stay hidden and come in the sort of the 9th inning, because the problem with skink cohorts is they have very, very low leadership, and I didn't want them to just get terror routed right away. So they're sort of my backline defense. Now for Professor Pawn's army, he has Black Knights on this side, sort of just let's just see what's going on over here. And this is sort of part of what I expected. He's got the Terrorgeist here, and the Terrorgeist does do a breath attack. He's regenerating. He has Manfred on a dragon, and Manfred has a ton of magic. He has Master of the Black Arts for he's going to have lots of winds of magic. He has Raise Dead for the summons. He has Invocation and Heck for the heals. The Fate of Buna for killing big stuff like the Star Chamber Guardian. He has Spirit Leech, which he's definitely going to use on Lord Croak. Pestilent Breath with the breath, and he has all the things that he has. And he has Unholy Lodestone. He has like Vigor Mortis is really nearby, and he brought a group of Fellbats. Now, this is a pretty common build for the Vampire Counts, and I actually really highly considered bringing a Lizardmen Air Force, and I tested it out, And if it's just Manfred and Terrorgeist, you can win. You can win in the air with like tic-tac-toe and the Ripperdactyls and a whole bunch of stuff. But if he brings anything else, like Fellbats or something like that, you can't win. It's so really, Professor Pawn is a mains vampire account, so obviously he knows that. So I was like thinking, oh, maybe that'd be good. And I talked to a work boss. He's like, well, what if he knows that? And be a really bad idea, and so it was a bad idea. So nice build. So for the rest of his army, he does have some Blood Knights in the far left flank. He does have 4 units, I believe, of Graveguard with great weapons, and they're going to try and get through my Temple Guard. He knows I'm going to have Temple Guard, obviously, and he has some zombies just in the front line to slowly come up to the front. And he does have this Unholy Lodestone for the regeneration, and I think it does something more than that. Regeneration and replenish the hit point of combatants, Vigor Mortis, +5 melee defense, +5 melee attack, and it'll be in the front line. So we'll get this going right away. So really, I'm like, okay, I know he's going to come to me. I really want to sort of set up in here like that, so I give myself a spot. Oh, I'm going to start taking shots at him right away. Try and take shots at that Terrorgeist. I know the Terrorgeist can heal, but it does fire damage, so it's going to do extra damage. But anyways, I'm sort of just wanted to get up to here and sort of create some space. And he's actually going to come up as slowly as he can. He's walking zombies. Zombies are slow as it is. He doesn't want to actually get involved with me right away. So I didn't realize this. I'm like, you know, getting myself ready for the fight. But no, he doesn't want to. He wants to get his army up there. It's perfectly tournament legal, you know, to come up here really slowly. And he wants to actually take out... Oh, he's got a very nice breath attack into these Temple Guards. Wow. Awesome. And he wants to actually take apart Lord Croak with Spirit Leeches. Really, really nice work there. So he really just wants to slowly whittle down my army. And I'm sort of, okay, I'm just trying to shoot at his Terrorgeist, and then I'm going to shoot at Manfred, and I'm like, wait a minute, I couldn't get shots off. I didn't know, maybe he was too close, maybe he's too far. But he's coming, he's in no rush to come up here. No rush. He just wants to let his magic go. He's got Master of the Black Arts, which gives him Winds of Magic. And for some reason, my Bastille won't freaking shoot. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to shoot at these bats, and I started to get some shots off of there. You know, he's got 2,900 health. Boom, 2,700. I'm like, wow, that's not the greatest. And then I'm like, just sitting here, and I'm noticing my Lord Croak is losing health, and of course he's going to use his Terrorgeist to actually use. And then I'm like, okay, I can't just sit here because he's coming. He's coming real slow. Like, this is a perfect use. And so I just, well, maybe we put a shot into the Graveguard. And then I'm like, no, actually, what I need to do is eventually, because I'm a little slow, eventually I'm going to work out that I don't want to just let him take shots at me. So in comes another breath on Lord Croak. He's going to have another breath from the Terrorgeist. He's going to have another Spirit Leech. And I'm like, wait a minute. He's actually going to take Lord Croak out before Lord Croak gets to fight in that infantry fight and use all his magic, and then I'll have no magic whatsoever. And I'm like, what? I'm like, so I got a shot in. I'm like, I'm still sort of thinking my way through this. Like, I know it's painful to watch when you're watching it. And he puts the Fate of Buna on the Star Chamber Guardian, a very nice target for that. But when you're playing a competitive game and you have an idea in mind, you know, my goal in mind was actually to try and just make sure that I could deal with the Terrorgeist, and I thought it was going to be double Terrorgeist, but I thought really it was goal in mind to do that. And then I'm like working out the details. Okay, he's in no rush to get here. Nothing's happening. He's just using his magic. He's got the Fate of Buna on the Star Chamber Guardian. He has been able to put some pressure on Lord Croak. He's got a breath attack into the Temple Guards. And then I'm like, oh, okay, there it is. So I want to just... Now I finally realize that we're 3 minutes in the game and my tiny dwarf brain works out what's going on. So I want to get involved with the zombies. I'm going to get my units over here. He's going to get another Spirit Leech on me, I believe. He's going to get a breath attack. So I just want to get involved here. So I'm going on the zombies, and I'm like, I'm not going to have any spells if I don't start using my spells. So I'm going to use one of the spells for Itza to get after these zombies. And they kill everything really, really fast. And now he's slowly coming in and starting the fight in earnest. So I've got my Carnosaurs going after this Corpse Cart, and they just do a ton of damage. These guys they're so powerful, these Feral Carnosaurs. Then I put the shield on here. Is that the shield? Yeah, 44% damage resistance, but my Carnosaurs are outside the field. So he's actually still looking for a good place to get in on a croak. These guys are sort of coming in. I'm going to bring my feral Carnosaurs around, and I'm going to bring them back in. I'm just waiting for these guys to land. Eventually they're going to land. Like, I know that's coming. So I'm just looking for good targets until they land. Okay, maybe I'll go back and take a shot against the Graveguard. Okay, they're poisoned, and then I'll come back and get in. Now here he comes and lands, and I'm going to hit stand your ground, boom. So I get the plus 16, 27 melee defense on everything, and I'm going to focus on the Terrorgeist, and he's going to try and take down Lord Croak. Lord Croak has 39 melee defense, which isn't great, but I'm bringing in those feral Carnosaurs to get some work done on that Terrorgeist. He's dropping in his Felbats to try and hold him still, and I'm also bringing in the Bastiladon with a solar engine to really try and do some damage. And he's okay, so he's really getting beat down, and he's in here taking damage. I do have Tenenwan. He's got Arcane Conduit going. I'm trying to get some magic going. He does have his Graveguard and his zombies sort of by. He doesn't want to clump everything up. So I'm going to send my Carnosaurs back here to the corpse cart, and boom, he comes back in. I'm like, oh, better get back in there. He's going after Lord Croak really, really hard. I got another spell going here. You can see this Graveguard, great weapon. Boom. Knock them out. Get the Carnosaurs going after. I'm trying to pull Croak through and pull my Carnosaurs in to get after Manfred and the Terrorgeist. And there's Black Knights in here, but I pulled him too far, and he brings in his Blood Knights. This is actually a really, really nice play by profpwn. This is a really, really tight sort of battle, and he really caught Lord Croak, because Lord Croak is large. These guys are anti-large, and I'm trying desperately. I want to get back and get my Carnosaurs over here to stop this from happening, but he's putting a ton of damage, and really he's got his Terrorgeist and Manfred. He sees that Lord Croak is really, really low, and he's going to come in and try and get him, and boom. Right there, he kills Lord Croak, but she's trapped in here. Now I can at least get that Terrorgeist. The Terrorgeist is really low, so I bring my guys back. I shoot the Terrorgeist with the Bastiladon. I mean, the Star Chamber Guardian are doing fine against the Black Knights. So I really got that. I got the Terrorgeist trapped, and I'm able to kill the Terrorgeist now, and really still got everything going on here. I really want to get onto that corpse cart, so I'm going to actually send my dual feral Carnosaurs back up against that corpse cart and send them over there. There's my orders to go to the corpse cart. I want to get more shots into that thing, and I do have Stand Your Ground going off of the 27 melee defense again, and he brings in the Blood Knights, and he brings in Manfred von Karstein. I think he's going after Tenenwan here. Now Tenenwan has pretty good stats on foot, and he can actually hold his own, and he's giving everyone poison here, so I really wanted to get after these Blood Knights with my Carnosaurs. You can see I'm sort of chasing them down, and he actually really clever. He pulls the Blood Knights out, and he traps one of my Carnosaurs out here, and he comes in with Manfred, and now I'm sort of out of my zone of buffs. He's not imbued with poison damage anymore, so I'm going to work this out and try to actually pull him back and away, and just click him away into my group. So I click him away into my group. We actually we get rid of a unit there, and I'm going to go back and attack those Blood Knights again now that I have the poison. Get my shots off with the solar engine onto Manfred, bring in the other guy to go after the Blood Knights. Really, I'm pushing them out, and really profpwn wants to go out and come back in, and he wants to try and isolate one of these guys. And Orboss and I worked on this, because Orboss would crush me every single time we played, because I would let my feral Carnosaurs, no, I didn't have feral Carnosaurs the first few times, I'd let one of my units get outside, and he would pounce on it and kill it. And that's what I've come a little bit far. I got poison with this guy. I don't got poison with the guy a little bit far, but I am kind of winning that fight and doing some damage there. But I'm going to fight here, and then I'm going to get back in and really want to get into my buff zone. These guys are going to do just fine here, but he's really trying to rout these feral Carnosaurs. So I put Focus Instincts to stop the rampage. And now I'm like, oh man, he's really actually doing a good job. I better get these guys back in. So you can see I'm force pathing them back in here. I want to get them into my blob, so at least I can help defend with the Temple Guards. And they both rampage when they get in there, and I'm out of rampage stopping abilities. So they're in there fighting against Graveguard, which isn't the worst. The solar engine is shooting. In comes Manfred and the Blood Knights, and they are going to rout this guy, and these Temple Guards have routed, so I now have 2 routes going on, and he's going to chase this guy. So now he knows he's got this feral Carnosaur, even though he's got 27 melee defense. He's going to chase him with the Blood Knights, send them Blood Knights after, and Manfred von Karstein's going to come back in, and he wants to just chase this feral Carnosaur off, and he wants to get Manfred back in and get that other feral Carnosaur, because the other feral Carnosaur is just rampaging, so he can actually attack it in the back. But he turns around, starts shooting against Manfred, and I actually have this Bastiladon ready to take a shot right away, and boom, down goes Manfred. That is the end of the fight. Game 1 in the tournament. You know, it's funny. I've played in 3 tournaments, and I've picked in 3 of Shadow's tournaments, and I've picked the Lizardmen as one of my picks every time because I can't just play the Dwarfs in every game, or else I would. And I've never. This is a fun fact. I've never actually lost with the Lizardmen in a tournament. I've played them 3 times in 3 tournaments and won every game I played with them, I think. That's crazy. They just play well for me. Now, to be fair, when I talked to Professor Pawn after, he said basically you cannot win that matchup as vampire counts. You know, you have to hope the Lizardman player makes some bad picks, and you know, it's a really, really difficult match to pick. Now, he did focus down Croak, and Croak only got 122 kills. And I say only because in some of the test matches and practices, he was getting 300 kills. But Professor Pond focused him down, and you know, and got him out of the game earlier than I would have liked. Obviously, because he has that -9 melee attack, and he just has a shield of the old ones of 44%. So. But the rest of my units went to work. 10-1, 86 kills. Like 10-1's got good stats, and he's armor piercing. Like, yeah, he's on foot, but he's no joke. You know, maybe I should have put him on a horned one to give him anti-large, or not when to give him an anti-large. I could have gone with something else, but I mean, he did fine. He has really great leadership, and he gives everyone poison. Like, how could that be bad? The skin cohorts. To be honest, to be perfectly honest, I completely forgot about them while I was playing. I did put them in that far back to be able to come in, and I never even thought to bring them back. The Temple Guards started with 1 chevron. Both of them got 2 extra chevrons, or got 1 extra chevron. That's sort of the free one, and then these guys got up to rank 3. 78 and 129 kills. Temple Guard, 88 kills. Both of the Feral Carnosaurs got 2 chevrons. During the game, 38 and 52 kills. And the Bastiladon Solar Engine got a chevron as well with 61 kills. I don't know if this is a good pick. When I did talk to Professor Pond, he said you don't take 10-1 for the best possible pick. You take the Red Crested Skink Chief, because he's a really, really good duelist and has some good abilities, so he can actually just dominate when he's fighting. But I mean, I didn't know. So, you know, I brought sort of the best lineup I could think of, and also the best build doesn't bring that Bastiladon. I just thought, you know, I knew he was going to have a Terrorgeist, and I thought, well, I want to just take shots at that thing, and this will do 25% more damage because the Terrorgeists are weak to fire. So for Professor Pons, he brought Manfred von Karstein, and Manfred is got tons and tons of magic, has death magic and vampire magic, and is really, really good. It has that black dragon. You see, one breath, he lined it up on my Temple Guards and wiped out like 30% of their health. 3 zombies, 2/0/0. Zombies are there just to get hit by Lord Croak's spell and to hold things down. 37, 4, 22, and 34 with the Graveguard with great weapons. Only 1 with the Black Knights. Tough. Black Knights were going up against the Temple Guards. That's the worst possible matchup for them. 13 for the Blood Knights, but he was able to use his Blood Knights to kill Lord Croak and to rout the Feral Carnosaur, and he was escorting them off. So he did a really, really good use. Really used those Blood Knights well. And the Fellbats, you know, popped them in when he needed, and he had a corpse cart there for the buffs. And he probably did this just so it wouldn't have to be in combat to be active. Because the Mortis Engine he could have brought, but then you have to be in combat for that Mortis Engine effect to be active, and you don't really want your Mortis Engine in combat with Temple Guards who are anti-large. And then, of course, he brought the Terrorgeist, 9 kills, and that thing got a chevron as well. So, first game of the tournament, you know, a good way to start. Thanks, Professor Pod, for the game and for the chat before and afterward. He's a great guy. You know, it's funny every time you sort of get around other people in the community. You find out how awesome this community is, and how great all the people are that are in it. And you know, I definitely got lucky with the pick, because I had no idea, to be honest, what was the like when I found the match, I had Lizardmen versus Vampire counts. I was super worried because I thought I had the bad matchup. I really didn't have any idea what Professor Pond was going to bring, but I assumed he would bring something anti-Dowie, just in case. So that's sort of why I wanted to bring the Lizardmen, right? Because if he brings something anti-Dowie, like, then Lizardmen are going to generally do pretty good against those guys. So that's sort of why I wanted to bring the Lizardmen. It's sort of the same logic for my other picks, and I'll go over how I sort of picked. I'll go over sort of how I picked my armies in each. But really, this one was, I just wanted to be prepared if he brought something anti-Dowie with something that would be good against the anti-Dowie factions, and the Lizardmen was sort of my pick, and that was that. So, anyways, good fun game. Love to hear from you down in the comments on the build. And, have you been seeing this build? Do you play Lizardmen? Have you played this matchup, Lizardmen versus Vampire Counts? Have you been the Vampire Counts in this matchup? Like, how is the build? What did you think of the build specifically? And how could it be improved, I guess? With that said, I hope you found it interesting, and I will see you soon.